So, Inquisition.
I loved Inquisition.
See,
but it did have its problems.
I don't feel as strongly about Inquisition. But to be fair, I've only played it once. So, like, that could just be, like, a harsh judgment.
Inquisition, for me, has more problems than 1 and 2. But it was still really enjoyable.
I think Inquisition... I
think my biggest problem with Inquisition is it didn't live up to what it could have been.
Yeah. They tried to almost go Witcher with it.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the content to back it up.
And it was, again, like most EA games are, rushed.
Unfinished.
Because I can remember watching early E3 footage and there being keeps that you set up. And to be fair, there's 3 of them. And I can remember in the video, they were like, you can customise the keeps, whether you want it to be a trading outpost, a military outpost, a fucking diplomatic outpost. You can customise and change whatever you want. And then there was 1 trading, 1 military, 1 diplomatic, and it was set in 1 location.
Yeah. So, Inquisition...
I did like the keep mechanic, but...
Inquisition... you're all going to a conclave?
Yeah, it's like a peace talk between the mages and the Templars because it's set 10 years after... No. 3 years after Dragon Age.
I was going to say, it's not that
it's 3 years.
And essentially you get there and it blows up and everyone blames you.
To be fair, it blew up, left a hole in the sky that you then walked out of. Like, if I was a passerby at that, I'd think that was pretty sus.
It's just so rude.
With a glowing hand. Like...
The audacity of these bitches. So, Cassandra. Now, when they said Cassandra was coming into this one, I was not looking forward to it. I didn't like her.
She was just Varric's interrogator into.
Yeah, but she's she just seemed really mean, but she's actually really cool in this one.
And she's really, like, sweet.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect.
So, she takes you prisoner along with Liliana. Mm-hmm. It all spills on from there. You realise you're the only person that can close a rift in the sky. You go around collecting all these people.
Everyone starts to think you're like the next coming of Jesus or something.
Essentially. Yeah. You collect all these people, you fight the bad guy. That's, again...
Standard Bioware plot.
Literally. Now that we were saying all these out loud, it's the same plot every game. So, but the companions in this one, they spiced it up a bit by having companions and advisors.
Yeah. Should we start with the advisors, because there's less of them?
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Should we start with the best one first?
Who's the best one, though? Because there's 2. Okay.
Well...
I wasn't sure if you were going to say Cassandra. Oh, no, Cassandra's a partner.
We'll start with the best one, like, aesthetically, and then we'll start with the best one who actually did a job.
Yeah, that I was about to tear you down, but that is fair.
So, Cullen, he was in Origins. He was a Templar at the Mage Tower.
I tried to bank him in Origins, you know.
I tried to bank him.
Because there was flirty dialogue, and he was like, I'll see you later then. I'm like...
And then shit hit the fan before he could recover. He got kidnapped by blood mages and tortured.
He's noodle-headed number 2.
He had, like, Justin Timberlake noodle hair. So after the event of Origins, he was sent to, like, rehab.
Essentially,
because he was, like, PTSD to fuck.
Yeah.
And then they sent him to Kirkwall, because that's a relaxing experience. Shit hit the fan in Kirkwall.
Where's the Hawk got there?
To be fair. Shit hit the fan in Kirkwall, and somehow he didn't have another breakdown, because I would have, like... that would have tested me to the max. And then Cassandra was really impressed with how he handled stuff in Kirkwall.
Yeah.
So she recruited him into the Inquisition and made him commander of the Inquisition's armies.
He's fit.
Which...
it's a good... like, pure law, and I'm there, like, fit.
It's a good job, he's pretty.
He's really hot.
Because he's...
not very good at his job.
He left that army in the woods.
So, I was so angry, right? I romanced Cullen, and I loved it. Everything about his romance. It was so good. It, like... how you go from sort of... He's really kind of a bit shy.
Yeah.
And then you become friends with him and you fall in love, and it's sweet. And it's so good, and all they're through, I'm making sacrifices so I can have an ugly-ass keep, but I can have a good army. Mm-hmm. And then it gets to the end, and I'm like, Cullen, my love, Griffiths is on the door, where's my army? And he's like, I left it in a swamp. And I'm like, you had one job. You had one job, and I've literally spent the entire game building up my forces, and then you're just like, I left it in a swamp.
Meanwhile, I'm there with, like, gold curtains.
Literally, you had, like, a sick-ass keep, and my keep was ugly as fuck. And then he's like, they're in the swamp from the last battle we fought, and I'm there like, how does that help me? Like, how do you suppose we sort out this situation? And then in the end, it's just like, Griffiths is on the door, like,
fight me 1v1.
1v1. And you're like, what's the point in this game? Like, literally, we could have done that at the start. Like, there was no point to the game.
Yeah, that is true.
We'll get to that later. So he's a military advisor. Like, I don't know what more to say.
Yeah.
So, like, his whole jam is, when there's a problem on the war table, his whole jam is, like, let's punch it.
Yeah. And then there's Leliana. Her whole jam is, let's slit his throat.
Yeah.
She's your spy master. She's a far cry from the sweet little priestess spy assassin we saw. She's had a hard few years.
Yeah. She goes through the most dramatic change.
It's partially because at the conclave, the main person who died was the divine, who's like their equivalent of the Pope.
Yeah.
And she is the one who, like, she saved Leliana's life years ago. They were really, really close friends. So she's, like, lost her best friend, like, mother figure, everything.
Yeah.
And the world's gone to shit. And she's like, I will sacrifice whatever bitch I have to sacrifice to fix this shit.
Yeah.
She's a bit too cold, I think.
Yeah.
And frankly, again, like, she scares me a bit. But
you're
she does warm up to you. If you tell her she's a bitch, she warms up.
Like, you're seeing her cold because you're not the hero anymore.
Yeah.
You're the Inquisitor. So I think you've got to look at it from that point of view. Like, she's going to treat you differently because she doesn't have that, like, build up a friendship.
Like, it does get there eventually. It takes her, like, pulling a knife on a priestess and you being like, whoa, no, calm down. What would Jesus do?
What would what was her name again?
The Divine.
What would the Divine do?
What would she do? And she's like, you're right, and doesn't stab her. Or you can be like, do it.
Go for yellow.
And, like, she is one of the options of who can become the next Divine. The process is randomised who becomes Divine, but you can influence it. So I always try and do as much as I can to get Leliana, because she gets, if she's nice, not a bitch anymore, she pushes for, like, elf equality, like mage equality.
Alright.
She lets men into the priesthood, she lets priests get married.
I kind of feel like I voted for Cassandra.
Cassandra's a cool divine too. She just puts everything to how it was before, but a little bit better.
Yeah,
Vivian's the one you don't want to
Leliana was very, like, mean in my playthrough, and I was like, I can't make her the Pope. I can't. In, like, good confidence, I can't. And then I'm like, Cassandra, what are you doing? And she's like, pop at Leliana. And I'm like, shh.
And then the last advisor is Josephine, who's your diplomatic advisor, and her solution is, let's talk this
Do you know what? I don't like her.
But she's the only one who could do a job.
I know she's that Aveline character.
Yeah.
She's the solid, dependable character. But she's not fun.
She was sweet. She's
fun.
Like a bit of a fangirl as well.
Yeah.
Like, everything you do, she's like, oh, Inquisitor, that was amazing.
And if you don't romance Cullen, doesn't she romance him?
No, she romances Blackwall.
Oh. Does she?
Yeah. But then in Trespass of the Law, we called it off because it was just a temporary thing. Like, he's too poor for me. And you're
what?
Savage.
Oh. Carry on, I need to process it. I didn't know this.
So, she's from a rich Antivan, aka Spanish family.
Yeah. She dresses like a Quality Street.
She does dress like a Quality Street.
Her dress looks really fake. The graphics on it, like, it looks like it's made of plastic. Like, it doesn't look like fabric.
It doesn't look like the rest of the material in the world.
Yeah.
She's okay.
Her solutions. Now, this is my issue.
Her solutions are probably the ones you should go for.
Yeah, but I don't. Cullen's like, let's punch this, and I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go punch it. That's my problem. Like, I accept that is
my favourite one that I've gone for that Cullen suggested.
The lady's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew
so,
it.
like, there's a bitch who's a traitor, and you end up, like, if you kill her, there's a war table mission where you have to decide what to do with her body. Josephine's like, we should give it back to her family. Leliana's like, we should, like, burn it. And then Cullen's like, I don't know, I'm too tired. Knowing you'll probably just end up putting it on a spike or something. No, wait, I didn't mean that. And then, yes. You can actually do it.
All of his options are, like, really, like, poor jokes.
Yeah.
And then if you do them, he's just there, like,
why did you actually do that?
I love Cullen so much.
Should we get onto the companions?
Yeah. Do you know what? How do you feel about the advisor system? Did you like it?
I really liked it. Because a lot of the decisions in Dragon Age do take me a bit of time to make up what I want to do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And, like, if there's someone there saying, well, if you do it like this could happen, or if you do it like this could happen, it helps. And I think because you're the Inquisitor and you were like a world power, it made sense for him to have advisors. So I'm hoping that whoever we play as in Dragon Age 4 will have some kind of power because I want them to use the advisor system again.
Yeah. I think it is a way to have extra companions and have them have such detailed stories and have interaction without having too many companions.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Mass Effect could have done with a system like that.
Yeah, and obviously there are the missions as well where you go. There's a mission where you accompany Cullen to the forest, I think, or a shrine.
Is that the date one? What is it if it's not a date? Because with me, he's like, I need you to come here, and I went there, and he's like, have this coin as a symbol.
Oh no, that's the date. I'm thinking of like.
There's another mission with Cullen. Oh my god, is it the one where you get there to save his buddies and they've all been made into Red Lyrian Templars and you've got to kill everyone? Yeah, that was bad. And
then Leliana, like, she gets a message from the Divine who's dead and she's like, this ain't right. So you go and investigate that with her.
It's Kai Lang.
It was me all along. And then Josephine, like, she's trying to restore her family's, like, trading status because she was exiled while, like, grandparents were or something. And, like, she has to get these contracts and people are sending assassins after her, so you have to hide someone in a cupboard and shit.
I think the app they had for Mass Effect
would have been useful.
Yeah. Because, like, just sending people out is something you could have been doing while you was busy, but you could have just done it from your phone.
I'd have preferred it if it wasn't an app, actually. I'd have preferred it if they got rid of all the fetch quests that made it feel a bit like an MMO.
And made them into them.
Some of those into side quests. Like, load up a Denerim map. It wouldn't be easy to make up a few corridors that look for Eldon.
Yeah.
Go and save Alistair rather than have a message from Alistair saying, can you please spare someone to come and save the King of Ferelden?
I think that was, like, literally, the table missions.
That was all the important shit the Inquisitors should have been doing. Yeah.
And then the open world missions.
Like, go and get me 10 ram pelts. And I'm like, sorry, am I playing Elder Scrolls Online?
And do you know what I think it probably is, though? Like, we're thinking about it in terms of, like, actually sitting down and playing it. But they probably, like, paced it like that. So you could build up XP and stuff and you could get ready. But obviously, it's boring.
Yeah.
But they probably had, like, a reason for it. I think, like, the open world, they wanted it big and they wanted loads of stuff to do, but then they kind of lost the spark of the things to do.
Yeah.
I would have preferred it smaller with quests that actually like meant something than all that rubbish.
It's like the smallest world in the game is the Fallowmire, the swamp one. And to me that feels the fullest.
Yeah.
Because there's not that many side quests, but like you see most of it just doing the area quest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Mass Effect had the thing going for it where, like, we didn't have games like that, so we were excited that it was huge. But Dragon Age Inquisition come at a time where every game was trying to be an RPG, and you're just like, I can't play another, like, 400
Andromeda did it a little bit better, because I think they learned in Andromeda from Inquisition, and they were like, okay, these side quests need to feel a bit less pointless.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the next Dragon Age, it does do that same system, but it just has better side quests.
Yeah.
That make the world feel more full.
Yeah. So, actual companions now then.
Okay, Cassandra.
Cassandra is...
BFF.
Like, she was the character
I
was expecting... Literally! She was the character I was expecting to like the least, and I actually really, really... How I felt with Hawk and Varric is how I felt with my Inquisitor and her.
Yeah.
I think she got the best... You couldn't even describe it as development, because really we're judging her on like 3 scenes from Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
But like she was the most surprising one. She's actually really funny.
Yeah.
She's actually...
And like really sweet.
Yeah.
And like you just, from your initial interactions with her...
She's really mean at the start.
You would not believe that if you showed someone who had never played the game a clip of her from the beginning of the game and the end, you wouldn't believe they were the same character. She
was my favourite apart from Cullen.
Mm-hmm.
And if I ever played it... Can you romance her as a lady?
No.
She was going to be my next line. I really liked her. I thought she was... I think she's one of the outstanding companions, along with Dorian.
Mm-hmm. Tap for Dorian.
He's really cool.
Dorian is a Tevinter mage, and every other Tevinter mage we've met up to this point has been a problem. Yeah. But Dorian wants to go back to Tevinter and... like, reform his country and redeem his country.
Yeah.
So he's actually he's a necromancer, but he's a nice guy.
Yeah. Everyone's got like we've all got like, you know,
skeletons in the closet or walking alongside them if you're Dorian. I banged Dorian because he was the gay option.
He's fit though.
He's fit. He looks a bit like Freddie Mercury.
I think he again has that spark of a bro character.
Yeah, he's really funny.
Yeah, like you go to him with problems, and he's like, just do this, mate. He's like, thanks, Dorian. Yeah. I think him and Cassandra have got like an extra spark that other characters don't have in terms of like you actually feel very strongly about them.
Who else was there? Vivian. I
didn't like her.
I never agreed with Vivian, and then she's like, "Oh,
we're
you're a true
friends.
Friend.
Yeah,
I love the way you decorate your castle." And I'm like,
I think thanks. she was interesting because she was a different kind of mage.
Yeah, she
we'd never
strongly believed in the chantry, strongly believed in that mages should be like controlled and confined.
Yeah,
and I always play as a mage because I love magic, and if I was in that universe, I wouldn't believe that at all. So all of my decisions were at odds with her, and for some reason she just really liked me. I think it's maybe because I just told her she was a bitch.
I didn't agree with that. I think she's very she's essentially like,
she's very manipulative.
She was a glorified house pet, essentially, wasn't she? She was like what Fenris was, but she was happy to be it.
Yeah, like the Empress kept her about.
Yeah, and it was very weird. And
like she was the court mage.
Yeah.
But then when you think about it, Morrigan was the Empress's magic advisor. So I feel like the Empress had Vivian there to appease the circle.
Maybe.
And Morrigan was the one she actually went to for like, I've got magical issues, help.
It's a strange situation. I didn't agree with, like, again, I don't play as a mage, but I'm very pro-mage. I'm pro-mage, I'm pro-elf.
One time I took an all-mage party, but just because I wanted to hear Dorian and Vivian slag Solus off about his fashion. It was great.
So I didn't really agree with that, and I didn't hate her, but I didn't really have any affection towards her. And then at the end of the game, she was like, "We're such bros," and I'm there like, "Were we though?" Like, okay then. Another person who I did not like, Sarah.
Sarah irritates the shit. I don't like characters whose whole vibe is fuck the system. I'm an anarchist. I don't like the system.
Yeah.
They just bother me because the system. Like, yeah, the system in Dragon Age is oppressive and needs changing, but it's also, like, medieval.
You're part of the problem.
And, like, her going around just killing random people isn't going to help.
I just didn't like her from the moment I got her. Yeah, she's a brat. But you know what really annoyed me, though? She was the only person who spoke to me about my romance choice.
Yeah.
Nobody else ever did. And that's weird, because in, like, 1 and 2... Everyone had an opinion, and I thought that was really weird.
Maybe no one wants to step to the Inquisitor.
Maybe they don't, to be fair. Like, maybe they don't. But I think she has some, like...
She's funny.
She has the best interaction with you, to be fair.
Yeah, the quest where you gotta go and, like, prank people, that is funny. Like, straight up, that's one of my favourite, like, companion quests from that game. But, like, I can't speak to her for a long period of time because she just irritates me.
I didn't like Cole. I didn't hate Cole, but he freaked me out.
Cole is my child.
I didn't know how to, like...
Cole has never done anything wrong in his life apart from murder hundreds of Templars over the years.
He unnerved me, and, like, I didn't...
Just because he can go invisible and kill people.
He used to tell me what colour was thinking, though.
And do that.
That was really sweet.
But I told him to become more human, and now he's banging the bard.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did with that situation. I played a lot of Inquisition because I went hard and I completed every side quest. So I went hard at that game. Like, the hours I racked up on that game, I don't even want to think.
We need to talk about Iron Ball.
We'll save the egg till last because this is controversial.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was like, we've not talked about Solus and Blackwall. I was like, we'll save them.
Blackwall was so funny because, like, I remember you played the game before me for some reason. I think I was at work.
Yeah, because I was at uni, so I was just like, I'm not going to lectures for 3 days.
So I was actually ill the day that game came out.
Yeah.
But I was actually genuinely ill.
Yeah, because I can remember you being like, no spoilers, I physically can't play it.
And I felt like a snake, but I was actually ill. And so he comes along and he's like, I'm a Grey Warden. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I used to be a Grey Warden, that's sick. And I'm like, asking him questions like, so how do you become a Grey Warden? And he's like, I was like, how do you do this and how do you do that? And I remember messaging you like, this bitch ain't a warden. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. And then you find out at the end and it's like, who told you? Like, I don't get that because obviously if you're playing this one, chances are you play the rest. So they could have done it a bit, they could have like, you shouldn't have been able to
shouldn't have made him so suspicious.
Literal time you speak to him.
Yeah.
I don't like him. He's a snake. So what was his actual jam?
So he was a Orlesian soldier.
Yes.
Fighting for Grand Duke. Can't remember. I want to say
Guard?
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because you used to say it was the gas card you now got.
Yeah. So he was fighting with him and he got an order to assassinate a noble who was on the Empress's side. And he ordered his squad to do it. But his squad killed the noble and the noble's entire family.
Oh shit.
So they were all like wanted for arrest, and he, instead of owning up to it and saying, yeah, I gave the order, he just fucked off. Went to join the wardens. There was a fight, and the warden who was supposed to be taken to the wardens died, but told him to be a better person with his dying breath. So he took his armour and pretended to be him.
They're like, the thought was there.
Yeah, but like, swing and a miss.
Again, like...
To be fair, once you out him, if you give him to the wardens, he does undergo the joining and he does survive. And he does become a really good Grey Warden. And if you don't, he goes around like helping the people that he fucked over who survived and helping the families of those who didn't. And like he goes around prisons like convincing people to have a better life. And I'm like, you're a good person, but you just went about it all wrong.
he suffers from... He has actually an interesting story, but because there's some people that are so much better, he gets lost in the favouritism of it all. Like, that's Dragon Age's problem. Mass Effect suffers from everyone's terrible from like apart from 3 people, and then Dragon Age is like everyone's too good
except for these like fantastic
literally
3 people who are just so much better. Iron Ball, I loved Iron Ball. He's so funny.
Him.
So he's a Kunari, but he's nothing like Sten. He's
a party bro.
He's a party bro. He was sent to spy, and he was like, "How can I spy? I'll make a mercenary company full of misfits." And like, they just drink and party. And he's like, "I do still report back to the Kunari, you know." And like, he's not a snake because the first time we meet him, he was like, "I'm a Kunari spy."
Yeah, literally.
I don't want any bad blood between us, so I thought I'd tell you right now.
And he's voiced for Freddie Prinze Jr., so...
Yeah, even better.
So that James, like...
He's a bit of a bro character.
He's
I like the one after you kill the dragon, he's like, so we just go get pissed? And you're like, yeah.
Sorted. I think he was like...
I romanced him in one of my playthroughs, and he's got a magnum dong. You don't see it, but like you see pretty much every other character's reaction to it.
Yeah, when Connor comes in and he's holding up the clipboard because he can't look. Yeah, I've seen that. I think
Cassandra comes in, she's like, Inquisitor.
Oh. What I did with him was, I didn't treat him as bro as like Cassandra.
Yeah.
Well, I did every time I was with him. I like flirted with him, but like platonically flirted with him. So I never actually like made any advances towards him. I just kind of flirted with him, and we had that sort of like, if Cullen wasn't around, you'd be my second choice. And he was like, I'm okay with that.
I know this and I love you.
That's the cool thing about it, like that one. Like, you could literally flirt option with anyone, but until you confirmed it, it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So that added more, like, a little bit more personality to the Inquisitor. But again, I felt like the Inquisitor was really bland. I don't know.
More so than, I think that's just because we're coming off Hawk.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think, like,
the Inquisitor does have some funny lines, and I think it's because the Inquisitor, with Hawk, like, you're going to pick the sarcastic
You're going hard with Hawk,
but they changed how it works.
Yeah.
So there'll be, like, an option, if you're after money, you pick that option. If you're after, like, it's more how you want the tone of the conversation.
Yeah, because a perfect example of this is, after that mission with Cullen with his red lyrium friends, like, he was really upset, and I picked the option that said something like, don't worry, there's nothing you can do now. Thinking it would be like, don't stress about it, it's done, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, get over it. And I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? And I think that was like...
Yeah.
Do you know one question I have about... This is not relevant. This is not going to change no one's life. But me and Tom debated this for quite a long time. How did Cullen get that mattress up there through that little hole? How did you do it? Up the ladder through the hole. How did you do it?
Maybe it was already there.
How did it get up there? Tom was like, he carried it on his bare shoulder. And I was like, no, like,
maybe,
okay.
Maybe the Inquisitor opened a breach, sent it into the Fade, climbed the ladder, opened another breach, got it from the Fade, and then sealed them both.
No, that's not good enough. I want to know. BioWare needs to answer it. Because it's literally inconsequential, but every time I see it, I'm like, how did it get here?
My one peeve about Inquisition was, no matter how much you tied up your castle, you could never fix the holes in the wall.
Oh my god, yes. There's like bricks on the floor as you're walking into the war
and
room.
And like whole towers that are just ruined. And you're like, when they were promoting Inquisition, they're like, you can go in every room.
Yeah, literally.
And you can customise the whole castle.
No, you can't. Lies.
Can you fuck?
Lies! Deception!
I know, yeah.
Yeah, Cullen's like room had a hole in the roof. And I'm like, what about when it rains?
Yeah.
They never...
Like, so many questions, so little time.
Wait, yeah.
Solus.
The egg.
That egg bastard.
You know what? The worst part was, all the way through...
I'm bitter and I didn't even romance him.
I actually liked him as we were going through the game.
He was really interesting character.
Yeah, and he had a lot of wisdom and he had a lot of knowledge and it was fun. Again, it was a learning experience that didn't feel like learning. And then you get to the end of the game and you're like...
It just disappears and you're like, okay. And then there's a post-credit scene and he like absorbs Flemeth's life essence and you're like, okay.
Bitch.
And then she calls him Dread Wolf and you're like, what the actual wolf? Fuck. Like...
And then you realise everywhere you go with him, there's all
like
statues of the Dread Wolf and you're there like, I am a dumb bitch.
Do you know, I'd say that is the best twist they've done since Revan.
Yeah, I agree there. Because, like, you didn't see it coming.
Because I'm a dumb bitch, because I really did. I was even taking photos of the wolf and being like, hey, it looks like the Doge meme. Like, so I knew they were there, and I still didn't even pick up on it.
I think I've got an issue with elves, because every game an elf has turned on me.
I'm the same with mages. Like, I play as a mage, and I'm waiting for Dragon Age 4, and I'm like, which one of you mages is going to betray me this time?
It's an elf for me, like, I just know. I don't know, I think it was a good twist.
Yeah.
I think it upset a lot of people that romanced him. Like, people were genuinely heartbroken over this. But then the way you gotta look at it is, it adds up. Like, if you do get to play as the Inquisitor in the next game, you got a lot of, like, story coming your way. Yeah. You got a lot of, like...
Honey, you got a big storm coming.
Yeah. Like, that has to be fun, though. That's, like, you know, that's good. Whereas if it's
we should bang Solus in our bitch playthrough.
I don't want to, though. We're gonna do you know what we'll do? We'll flip a coin. That's the only diplomatic way to do it. Or we'll put everyone's name in a... We'll
make the character put who we can romance.
We should just totally...
We should do elf female, because they can bang the most.
We should just put it all in a jar and just pull it out, and then we have to do whatever. Sorted. And it'll still be fucking sold. That's not bad.
Alright, so... That's it.
The companions in Inquisition...
They're all really interesting.
They've got a lot going on.
They're
Even
very
if you
well
don't
written.
like them, they've got a lot going on. It's like... Having the advisors as well that you can still interact with as much as the companions is a good idea.
The romances were a little bit controversial.
Cullen
and Solus got a bit of controversy because they're race locked. But you know what? Real life people have preferences.
But then you know what? Like,
I'm gonna flat out say it. People have preferences. Some people aren't gonna want to bang a dwarf. I'm sorry. Some people aren't gonna want to bang a giant horny Kunari.
When they made everyone bisexual in 2. It was like, why is everyone bisexual?
Yeah, and now it's like, why isn't everyone bisexual? It's like, what do the fans want?
Yeah, it's more realistic that way. And it's like the same as people who played as an elf in Dragon Age 1 who couldn't become queen. And they're all like, oh my god, this is disgusting. It's like, well, you know, you're told from the start.
It's not a perfect world. The world of Dragon Age is a flawed world.
You're literally told from the start that everyone hates elves and you think they're going to just accept one as the queen. Yeah. No.
But the DLC for Inquisition.
I have played a few, but I don't think I've played them all.
Right, so I actually really love the DLC for Inquisition because it adds each one of them adds so much lore.
You know what though? There's no DLC companions.
No.
Which is unusual.
It's because people were getting pissed off about Sebastian being DLC exclusive, Javik. And Bioware were like, we're just not going to do one this time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the first DLC that came out was Jaws of Hacken.
Yeah.
When it was advertised, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I've played that one.
Because it was
terrible.
like, we're going to learn more about the barbarians who live in the south of Ferelden. I'm like, why the fuck do I care about these barbarians who live in the south of Ferelden? Like, I just don't. To be fair, I still don't care that much. But it was fun.
It was a good DLC.
I got to fight a winter god in the body of a dragon. I got to find the first Inquisitor who was frozen in time. It was good shit.
It was pretty good. And it was that little cute elf lady. Was she an elf?
Dwarf. The scout.
Yeah, she's really cute. I
Scout
like
Harding.
her. Yeah, Scout,
She
that's the
featured
one.
heavily in it.
She was cool.
I got to be friends with a bear. What
Sort
more
of.
do you want?
Sort. And then you have all the standard little, like, Arms of the Canary,
Yeah,
$3.99.
the item packs.
Yeah.
I'm a sado and I bought them all.
I don't have the Canary one, but I have the other one.
I do, it's
The, like,
sick.
Flames of the Inquisition. No, what is it? Like, something of the Inquisition?
That one we got with the like special edition.
We're bad bitches and we got, like, the £100 special, like, super edition.
The Kuniara is 6. It's like a bikini top.
No way.
I always put Cassandra in it. She looks really awkward.
I'm going to get that. I'm going to buy that when we finish this.
I'm going to call the store right now.
Can you put it on Cullen?
It's like, no.
Racist.
But like if you put it on a boy, it's like an open vest, I think.
Oh no, Cullen's not. Oh,
Solus is shredded.
I keep forgetting. Is he?
Yeah, they all are. It's the same body model. It's weird.
You know what? I heard Kylo Ren was shredded.
Even Cole, the small little ghost child, has got like an 8-pack, and you're like, what?
Canon. Anyway, Swallow.
Yeah.
Ben Swallow.
I've not put it on Varric yet because Varric's got his chest on show anyway, so I wonder if it makes him hench.
You should do it. We'll try
I'm
it
gonna
later.
try it, yeah. What was I going to lead up?
The next
the Descent
DLC.
DLC. So in the Descent, there's some earthquakes. And
Oh,
Scout
yeah.
Harding's like, maybe you should
Go
investigate
and
these
investigate
earthquakes.
these earthquakes.
And then you go down, and it's some of the most interesting lore of a video game I've ever experienced has been in that Deep Road section. As someone who hated the Deep Roads in Dragon Age 1, I love the Deep Roads in Inquisition. You go in, and then suddenly, like, you get deeper and deeper and deeper, and then, like, the walls start turning blue. And, like, it's really odd, and there's, like, plants growing and stuff, and you're like, this is strange.
Is it lyrium? Yeah.
Kind of. The walls are blue because of lyrium.
Okay.
But you're inside the body of a titan.
That's cool. That's sick.
And then you find out that lyrium is titan blood. So all magic is technically blood magic.
Oh my god.
And
That's
the dwarves have been
world
mining
changing.
it.
How can that be a
Literally.
DLC?
And like the titans were defeated by the elven gods and stuff like that. And you're like,
This is good shit.
and you get
That's the only DLC I don't own. How do I not own that one?
dwarf companions to come through the deep roads with you. One of them's called Ren, and it's very sad because he dies.
Oh no.
He's like
Spoilers.
he's like a veteran dwarf soldier. He's been in the deep roads fighting his whole life. And then there's Volta, who's like a shaper, so she deals with dwarven history. So like every so often, like you'll see something, she'll be like, oh, this, and she'll give you like a little mini dwarven
Lecture.
history thing.
That's cool.
And then at the end, she gets struck by something that the Titan throws out, and you're like, oh shit, she dead.
Is she Gollum?
Weirder. So like she rises, and she just like runs off, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you get back, and there's a note from her. And you're like, she's like, I've been changed by the Titan. I can feel its influence inside me, all its wisdom. There's dwarves that live inside the Titan who are like brainwashed, and they're like zombies essentially that like serve the Titan. She's like, they all listen to me now, and she's like, I'm going to stay down here and see what's going on. And she just disappears, and you're like,
Okay. This
and she's
sounds
like-
very important.
and then she's like, by the way, the earthquake's going to stop, and you're like, thanks. GG. And then the last DLC is Trespasser. So the Inquisition is not on trial.
They are though.
They are.
Alistair's calling you out, but he doesn't want to come out and say that he's calling you out.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't you come over and we'll have like some nibbles and I'll put like a cheese plate out, and then you get there and he's like, stop the Inquisition, yeah.
And then Ole is like, don't stop the Inquisition. Work for Ole. And you're like, I don't want to do either of those things, so I'm just gonna... I've got to take a bathroom break. Whoever
Sorry,
you picked
Bar.
as divine is like, hashtag Team Inquisition. They're supposed to be impartial and they're like, hashtag Team Inquisition.
Do you know
And
what?
then
It's very
one of Liliana's
weird.
spies comes in halfway. Like, you get a bit of interaction with your companions, and you're like, oh, what have you been doing for the past 2 years? Like, what's going on with you?
When you have that like cheese thing with Vivian, you put like cheese on your
you go
eyes.
to like a cheese spa with Vivian, and like you've got to smuggle a dragon horn into the pub for Iron Ball for his birthday.
Yeah.
And
then Cullen asked you to marry him.
Yeah, and you get a dog if you do.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big...
Best outcome.
Big step.
Dorian tells you that his dad's dead and he's a magister now. And, like, he's formed a political party to try and reform Tevinter. And he's going there after the council's ended.
He's
wink,
a good
wink.
boy.
Next game's going to be in Tevinter.
Dorian's a good boy. Dorian's leading the next game. If Dorian is not in the next game, I'll be very surprised.
Sarah's just doing what Sarah does all the time.
It.
Blackwall tells you what he's been doing. Cassandra has been either advising the Divine or actually being the Divine.
He's the Divine, yeah.
Liliana's either just still being your spy master or she's been the Divine. Josephine takes you to watch an opera that's really hideous.
Yes. Yes.
And then you go back in the meeting room. You're discussing, like, why you did some of the things you did in Inquisition.
What they're calling you out for.
They're like, why did you invade the Grey Wooden Fortress? And you're like, demons were there that would have invaded the world. And they're like, fair enough. Why did you set up a keep in Ferelden? It's like, bandits were there. So we just thought we'd just take the castle.
It's a bit of a push. Like, I get why they would be worried, because you're a big influence. But at the same time, I don't know, it doesn't seem very Alistair. It doesn't seem like an Alistair move.
I feel like Alistair was probably pushed into it by the rest of the... Either the Queen.
It was me.
Either the Queen or, like, the rest of the nobles.
It was me. They're like, there can only be one bad bitch, and it's me. So get
the rest of the nobles were probably like, so there's a giant military force, like, right next to my lands now.
Like,
kind of getting a bit nervous. It's been there for a few years.
But if we're assuming, like, we're not going to go straight, like, into what we're thinking, because you got a whole PowerPoint for that. But, like, if we're assuming it's leading to some form of war between a lot of people.
Yeah, but it's going to be between fucking everyone. That's
what I mean. Like, maybe it's just the sort of... Maybe it's the kind of get the ball rolling on that, and you're like, well, people who would normally be allies are turning on each other, so maybe it's just like a little bit of a taste.
So you're discussing all this. One of Liliana's spies comes in. She's like, can I borrow the Inquisitor for a moment? And Bantegan, who's the Ferelden representative...
Who is this man?
And the Orlesian representative are both like, no, you can't. We're in the middle of an important meeting. Like, get out. And then they'll whisper something to you, and you're like,
oh,
I really need to go. I'll be back later. Josephine, deal with this. And you just walk out. And then Josephine's like, I'm so sorry. And then you walk out, and there's a dead Kunari.
Oh my god.
And everyone's like, what the fuck? What are we going to do? If the Kunari discover this, there's going to be a war. If the Orlesians discover this, there's going to be a war.
Just be like,
if the Fereldans discover this, there's going to be a war.
Iron Ball's collapse. Oh no.
And
drunk.
Next to the dead Kunari is an alluvian.
Oh shit.
So you go through the alluvian.
Why?
If you take the Divine with you, they've got this bitch in gold armour, it's sick. And like a big pointy hat.
Okay.
So you get to see Cassandra in a
big pointy hat.
So you go and you're inside the crossroads, which is how all the alluvians connect.
Like connect to each other, yeah.
So Morrigan's obviously been there before. What's really interesting is, because the alluvians are elvish, if you play as an elf, the sky's kind of like rose tinted, all the trees have got like pink petals.
But if you're a human,
it's a bit trippy, and like all the trees are dead, and it looks really like weird.
That's cool.
That is it was a really cool mechanic.
Why is all the good shit in the DLC?
I know, yeah.
I didn't know I've got that DLC.
So you go through all these alluvians, and you go through all these ruins, and you're discovering the story of the Dread Wolf. And you're like, the Kunari are after the Dread Wolf because they're scared of him.
Oh, okay.
And they think that he'd be able to stop their future invasion.
The egg.
Yeah. Can I offer you an egg in this trying time? So, the Kunari are after the Dread Wolf, and it's also some of his agents, because he's got a very big spy network, apparently.
What's nice?
Some of his agents have been, like, trespassing on the Kunari soil.
Oh.
So they really want to take him down. So
you're
like,
with the Kunari?
We've got to find a Dread Wolf, because you don't know it. The Inquisitor at this point doesn't know it's Solus. We do, but the Inquisitor doesn't. So we've got to find the Dread Wolf shit. So you're uncovering all this lore about the Dread Wolf, about how he didn't actually betray the Elven gods, how he was trying to help, because the Elven gods were all slavers. They were just regular elves who were really powerful.
No way!
And like they had enough magic to make themselves immortal. And they enslaved the rest of the elves. And then Solus was an elf who rose up and rose an army against them. And then Mythal switched sides and helped Solus.
So Solus is literally Fenris Mark II?
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo?
Yeah. Pretty much. And then over the years, he's gone a bit insane, and that is like he trapped the elven gods in the Fade.
Oh shit!
When he created the Veil.
Oh my god!
So at one point, the Fade and the regular world were one. and everything was spirit. And then after that, like humans, dwarves, Kunari all started to evolve.
Oh, that's pretty cool. The more you know, people, I'm learning here.
So he's seen what's happened to the elves and is like, oh, shit, this is all my fault. Like, we're worse off than we were before.
Yeah.
Like, our magic's dying. Everyone's still in poverty. This is all my fault. I've got to fix it. So he wants to break the veil. So he's
actually not a bad egg,
So he wanted to rip the veil open so the elves would be better off. But it would kind of destroy a lot of the world.
But Yzma came through in a high heels and a stripy socks.
Yeah, so a little bit. And it's like, I understand that what I'm doing will destroy a lot of the world and a lot of people will die, but it's necessary. And you're like...
It's a Thanos thing, isn't it? It's like, no matter how you look at it, like...
The final standoff with Solus, if you've discovered all the lore as you're going through, you can be like, you're the Dreadwolf. Yeah. And he's like...
It was me all along!
You figured it out. And he's like, this is my plan.
Who told you?
What are you going to do? Your hand's like going out of control. You can't stop me. And he's like, I will stop. Do you
like pull a back here and just cut your own hand off?
He takes it.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I can't help you because that hand will kill you.
Oh.
Like, the power's like growing and it will kill you.
Oh, no.
Unless I take it. And then he's like, do you want me to take it or do I have to do it without your permission? And you're like, because he's like, I'm not going to let you die. And you're like,
okay, then just take it then. Go for it. Do you get like a fake arm, or you like
kind
just a stumpy arm?
It's a stumpy arm, but I'll explain more later.
Okay.
So yeah, so he goes through the illuvium, and you don't follow him because like you pass out or whatever.
You just had your arm cut off, so you know, like.
Like it's pretty badass actually. Like the Kunari have surrounded him before you get to speak to him, and he literally turns them all to stone.
That's bad though.
It's like bad bitch alert.
Is it the guy from number 2 still in charge? No.
No, it's like some like female Kunari with a big book on her arm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What equality? Carry on, please carry on.
So so yeah, you have like a discussion with him about what he wants to do, and you're like, I'm going to stop you, right? He's like, you can try, and he just walks off.
Oh, bad bitch.
And you're like, he's like, I really don't want you to, because I don't want any harm to come to you, but you can try. And you're like, I will try.
You know what though? Like. Yeah, literally, because he doesn't want to hurt you. You just shank him.
Yeah.
You should have just shanked him.
And I wasn't even romancing him, so God knows what it'd be like if I was a female elf who banged him. Like, please, join me.
Maybe he pulls a coil over and you like, come to the dark side.
So you go back, and you kind of... The decision you have to make at the end is whether you've got to disband the Inquisition either way. Because the council's like, no.
Okay.
I've had enough of this. So you can either reform the Inquisition. The Divine's then like, well, I need a bodyguard.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, we could reform the Inquisition into the Divine's like elite guard, or we could just disband and go our separate ways. So I was like, I've had enough of being Inquisitor now. I've only got one arm. We're gonna disband and go our separate ways.
A wink.
And then it cuts to like a secret clandestine meeting between you, Cullen, Leliana, Josephine, Scout Harding, and you're all looking at a map and you're like, we need to find Solus. Like, I chose to disband. And then, like, it was a wise choice to disband because they won't believe the Inquisition's a thing and his spies won't be able to track us.
Okay.
Like, you have less resources, but you're easier to not corrupt.
I feel like if you took the Divine side, that would cause
You're open to more corruption, but you've got more resources and you can be more open in what you do.
Like, well, I feel like if you took her side... That's a big political stance.
Yeah,
and if you're trying to help everyone, they're going to be like, but you're the Divine God, so what are you... So it's a Cerberus thing all over again.
And they're like, we need to track Solus. And then this like Inquisitor's like, I know where he's gone. And he picks up a knife, stabs the map, and he's into Vita. And then that's the end of the game.
God. We've been saying it's all leading to the Vita since the end of like 2.
And then you do get an epilogue. The epilogue of Trespasser is Cassandra reading a book about... Oh no, sorry, the epilogue, you get epilogue slides about what happens to everyone. So like, in mine, I think Leliana... I can't remember what happened to anyone.
James, look, so you get this sick epilogue, but I don't remember any of it.
I know Dorian went to Vinta and formed his political party with May from the comics.
It's kind of May.
And he's got like long hair. Varric goes and... He's the Viscount of Kirkwall now, so he goes back to Kirkwall to rule.
Sick.
And there's like a little glimpse of Aveline in his epilogue slide, because she's still helping him. She's got like a shaved head now.
Okay.
Because, Inquisition had like 2 hairstyles.
Bad bitch. Yeah, literally.
And then you get the credit scene. After the epilogue slides, you get a thank you from Bioware.
Oh.
And then you get the credit scene. And the credit scene is Cassandra reading off Varric's tell-all tale about the Inquisition.
Oh my god, he's good. He's so
and
good.
Like, she's describing the characters. She's like, that's a really good Cullen. Oh my god. And then she gets the bit with her and she's like, oh, I'm in the book! And she has like a fangirl moment. I'm like, this is the best thing to ever happen.
Cassandra so much.
That post-credit scene was like the Citadel DLC of Dragon Age. It was great.
I need to buy this DLC. So what we like failed to mention.
I feel like I've just talked about Trespasser for like 40 minutes.
That's fine. It's fine.
It's all good.
I've learned a lot. So we kind of touched on it. So basically, the end of the actual main game is just Corypheus comes to fight you, and you kill him.
Yep.
And that's literally it. That's it. And that's what I feel like. There's a lot of decisions that were made along the way. We won't go like into detail, but they felt like really, really big decisions. But then you didn't actually see the consequence of those decisions at the end of the game.
No.
And that's why I felt it fell short.
Mm-hmm.
I get they're going to be big in the next one, but Inquisition kind of felt like a very, very long
This is
filler.
one thing that Mass Effect does better than Dragon Age. It's that the decisions, you get the outcome very fast.
Quick, yeah.
Whereas it's because Mass Effect's character-based, not world-based.
Yeah.
Because Dragon Age is world-based, you make the decisions and you might not see the consequences for the next 1 or 2 games.
And it wouldn't necessarily have been a problem, but for the fact that it was so long and you put so many hours into it, and then to get nothing, it was just a bit.
Once you play Trespasser, you do get quite a lot of consequences.
I did get halfway through it, and then I think I got halfway through it, and then I bought Overwatch, and that's all I've been doing since. So, like, I get it. I think now there's chatter of the next one, and there's a lot that we now know because you've just told me. I feel like Dragon Age is leading to something so big. Bigger than the Mass Effect ending.
Well, there's like 55 storylines that I can explain as soon as we're ready.
If you like that video and want to see more like it, then click this playlist button here. If you happen to want to subscribe to us and check out all our content, then click this amazing sexy button right here. Look how enticing it is. You know you want to click it. And if you're already subscribed to us, well then you are already an awesome human being.